Welcome to the Kuali Ready webinar. Everyone will be on mute throughout this presentation. We will be open for Q&A at the end of the presentation. Please type your questions into the webinar panel as they come to you, and we will get through as much as we can in the time that we have. This webinar will be recorded, and a link to the recording will be shared with you so that you can share with colleagues who couldn't make it today. Before we begin, we would like to ask all participants a few questions using our polling feature. This helps the presenters learn more about the audience and cater their presentation to the attendees. Okay, our first question. Do you currently have a business continuity planning or preparedness website? Please select one of the following, and we'll wait a few moments. Okay, let's see our results. So it looks like we're tied between not having a website and those who have something, but maybe not the ideal situation. Okay, fantastic. We have two more questions that we would like to ask. Here comes the second one. Who is the primary audience for your BCP website? Please select one of the following. Okay, we're closing this one. Let's see the results. It looks like the primary audience are BCP coordinators. Okay, interesting, with staff coming in second to that, or a combination. Okay, we have one last question that will help our presenters focus on the audience that's here today. Okay, if you do have a BCP website, is your website content mainly instructional or informational? And it looks to be a majority informational purposes. Fantastic. Thank you so much for participating in our polling. This will help Mary Lou and Bev think about the people who are attending today. Great. So I would like to introduce our co-presenters today, Mary Lou East Emmons of Indiana University and Beverly Wyatt of Ohio University. Mary Lou has a rich background in business continuity planning with over 8 years experience training, assisting, and directing the business continuity projects on all campuses of Indiana University. In addition to those 8 years, she also has 29 years of experience managing information technology related projects for Indiana University. Her tireless efforts have made Indiana University one of the best examples of preparedness, and we're excited to have her on today's webinar sharing ideas on how you can achieve similar results with your own institutions. Ohio University is another institution that is an industry leader when it comes to business continuity planning. Beverly Wyatt, our second presenter on this webinar, currently the business continuity coordinator at Ohio University that directly oversaw the implementation of Kuali Ready. In her 34 years at Ohio University, Beverly spearheaded the creation of the Ohio Ready Business Continuity webpage, in which those on campus can find BCP training videos, forms, and sample plans, tabletop continuity exercises, and several other key pieces of information for those involved in continuity planning. Great. Let's take it away, Mary Lou and Bev.
Thank you very much. We do appreciate Kuali asking us to participate. Beverly and I have communicated many times over the years with regard to how do we do what we do at Indiana University, and based on what you'll see today, I believe that there are some great examples, some great things that she has been able to institute at Ohio University as well. So with that, we're going to move on, and Beverly's going to start. And let me take charge here, and here we go. Beverly.
Hi, thanks for having us here today. As Mary Lou said, we have worked together for a couple of years on information and learning about business continuity, and she's actually been quite a mentor to me, especially when it comes to the website development. I found many good pieces of information that I stole from them and marked it as our own, which is kind of nice. To start with, I just wanted to reference our Ohio University continuity webpage. Just kind of the long URL that you see on the left. And one of the things that I've learned already just in getting this presentation together is that Indiana U has a very short and quick way to get to their business continuity planning page. And so that's something I'm going to actually be looking at in the near future to make improvements to our site. But that is our website right there for our business continuity page if anyone wants to take a look.
And on the Indiana University side of things, you'll notice that there are two URLs that we've represented. The first one is the IU portal, and of course this is behind CAS authentication so that only those with the Indiana University username and passphrases can access this. This is the way that they can get to the tool very easily, and I have a slide later on that will show this. The second URL, of course, is the specific address for going to the continuity site. Our normal site that when we refer to this to coordinators is go to the Protect site, which is protect.iu.edu. So that's where they can find information, that's where they can find additional instruction, and the portal will get them to the tool much quicker than going through protect.iu. Although it's there, but those are the differences between those two sites.
For our audience today, we wanted to share 3 quick points. Please send us your website URL, if you would. We'd like to learn from each other during this process. And if you could send it to events@kuali.co, you'll see the address right there. They'll compile that information and provide it back to us because we'd really like to look at each other's websites. Number 2, please feel free to find, if you see anything on our sites that you like or want to use or recreate and rebrand it as your own, feel free. We're all in this together. We want to learn from each other. We're going to be looking to steal things from your pages as well. So please feel free to do so. And this is a learning activity for all of us. So send us your questions and share your successes and your concerns and failures and whatever, because we all want to do a better job with our business continuity planning. On this next page, we wanted to tell you a little bit about the differences between our universities. Athens, Ohio is in southeastern Ohio. It's beautiful here today, by the way, about 70 degrees. There's our primary web page, and our total enrollment is for all of our campuses, which we have 5 regional campuses plus the main campus here in Athens, is a little over 40,000. We are a major public research university. Our organizational structure, we report up through the VP of Finance and Administration. There's another umbrella underneath that is risk management and insurance, and then emergency programs reports up to risk management and insurance, and of course business continuity is part of emergency programs. We have about 165 plans in various stages of completion, and we have 1.4 FTE in this particular office. That's only 2 people. I only work 16 hours a week. So there is another full-time person that I report to that manages the emergency management side of things, and my job is to basically get the BCP process moving on campus. Our website format is in Common Spot for anybody that's wondering.
And on the Indiana University side of things, we are a large university, and our official website, as I said, is protect.iu.edu. We fall under the Public Safety and Institutional Assurance umbrella, which reports to the Executive Vice President for University Academic Affairs. And under the umbrella of PSIA for short, we have IUPD, the police department, the superintendent who speaks to all of the chiefs on all of the campuses is a part of that group. Environmental health and safety, event services, emergency management and continuity are under this umbrella as well. Cyber and facilities securities. So we've been very, very fortunate at Indiana University to be able to combine those things that deal with security, preparedness, response, recovery, and put all of those under one associate vice president and then directors for each one of these divisions. Our total enrollment overall campuses is 114,000 students. We have, in essence, 8 campuses. We are the main campus, and there are 7 regional campuses. In Indianapolis, you have Indiana University, Purdue University at Indianapolis, IUPUI, which is the second largest campus for our system. We too are a major public research university. We also, as you see with the organizational structure, the EVP, then public safety and institutional assurance, and then emergency management and continuity house the various responsibilities such as business continuity, emergency notification system. We do the fire drills on campus. We have the EOC and the incident management teams. We write the documents. We do the policies. We make sure that we do training and for not only faculty and staff, but also for students as well. So that's just a bit about our organizational structure. As Becky had mentioned earlier, we've been dealing with business continuity for many, many years, and with the 8 campuses, we have approximately 818 plans for the various different groups, and they are in various different stages. Our responsibility, we have one FTE that takes care of business continuity. Actually, at present, as you noticed maybe in the title, I am not doing business continuity per se. We have a new individual that is dealing with that, and she shares responsibilities with UITS, which is our IT side of the university. We also have coordinators that are on at the Indianapolis campus, and there are in essence 2 of those, one for the regional campuses and 2 for Indianapolis, which I guess that really adds up to be 3 anyway. And our platform for the web product is Cascade at this moment. And we'll go into more of that. One of the things, our layout, of course, is based on what the AVP wants and what the directors decide. So when we deal with the layout, it's from the higher-ups, if you will. What goes on those sites, again, it's with the input of not only the directors but also the managers of the different sections that we have within emergency management and continuity. So we'll go into a little bit more of that as we go along here.
Okay, on this screen, you'll see the primary page for Ohio University's business continuity planning. We're relatively young in this process as compared to Indiana. We have been working on this almost 2 years now. So 16 hours a week for about 2 years. The website is about maybe 9 months old. When we first started this process, the website was just not, it would look kind of plain and there wasn't enough information out there. being here, you know, such a few hours a week, it was going to be hard for me to get all around campus and talk to individuals face to face. So we wanted to create a website that could actually do a lot of that work for us. So we started out by looking at other schools and institutions' websites, web pages, such as the one Mary Lou was referencing, and we picked what we liked from those sites, whether it was a picture, whether it was text, whether it was the way they explained the process, links that they used to various other organizations like FEMA or other places, and the user friendliness of the page. We wanted it to be easy to use, easy to look at, not confusing. So we took all of those ideas that we liked and tried to mesh them into our plan, to our website. So one thing the question that came to me was, are people actually using the website? Well, I think they are. I don't have a way of measuring that right now. That's something maybe down the line we need to look at. But I know from when we go to meetings to be introduced, whether it's by the provost's office, you know, when they call a meeting together of their assistant deans or associate deans, they had done their homework. They had gone out and looked at our webpage and did a really nice introduction for us at the meeting. So I know that they had checked us out. I have also had clients email me or call me to ask me questions about the webpage. So it is being utilized, but how much, I don't know. I take the opportunity to share the URL frequently so that people can resource it, because again, my page, or our page I should say, is both informational and instructional. The main point is so that I can get people to understand what business continuity planning is before I actually make that first initial visit with them. The other thing that I thought was important was that I didn't want to keep a help page up to date in 2 locations. So within Kuali Ready, you know, there's the little help button where you can go and have a little frequently asked questions and a resource and a contact. I didn't want to have to keep frequently asked questions updated in 2 different locations. So if you would click into the help button on our Ohio Ready page, it will direct you to this website. So it makes it a little easier and manageable for me. Our website is also geared more towards staff and coordinators. We don't have parents or students that would really want to look at this unless it was a class project. So it's accessible to anybody that wants to see it, but it's primarily out there for our staff and for our coordinators that we're working with out on campus. How often is it updated? I just update it when I find that there's information missing. If someone's asked me about it and I can't get to it readily, I think, or if I think other individuals are going to need that same information, I try to update the information that's on the site. So flip the switch there, Mary Lou.
All right.
This is another page I drilled down just a little bit into our website. One of the things that we thought would be helpful is to actually have some training videos out there. So we had a staff member in the information security office that knew how to make videos. So that was really helpful to us. So we got together, and the 3 of us, my supervisor and that person and myself, took turns narrating a video. What is the business continuity plan? What are the critical functions? Just more or less the basics. We did them in 2 or 3 minute clips so that individuals that were very short on time, which we all are, could go out and watch a video at their leisure and maybe squeeze it in before lunch or squeeze it in between meetings or something like that to get a better understanding of what business continuity is. So that's also a great place to send new employees who have just come on board in your office to get them acclimated with what BCP actually is. So we thought that we'd like to add more videos later. That individual that created these for us is no longer with us, but if we can get the resource together, I think it would be helpful to add a few more videos out there. And I'm not sure if anyone wants to know, I'm not sure what software they used, application they used, but I know here at the university they use Panopto for recording instructional lectures for the faculty. So, and it's free here at the university to use. So there may be something like that at your institution that you could use. The next slide, please. Forms and samples. Here's a page where we have some forms that we require our users to complete. One is the third-party application, departmentally owned form. You can resource that if you'd like to see what it is. And then we have the Ohio Ready interview form and a couple of sample documents. It seems like when I'm meeting with clients, they want to know, do you have a sample I can see? I don't have an evacuation plan. Do you have a sample I can look at? So this is where I'm kind of putting a collection of samples that they can just kind of pull up, modify, make it their own, and then it works for them. And then the last page that I just wanted to kind of point out to you is on the next screen. It's Tabletop Exercises. And we have some offices who prefer to do their own little training inside without, sometimes we go out and help them do a tabletop exercise, but others would like to do it on their own when they have time in a staff meeting. Maybe they'll do something to further educate their team about business continuity or better prepare them for disaster recovery. So on our page we put basic tabletop exercise information, how to do one, and we have a little exercise there that you use playing cards and dice. You're welcome to download that if you'd like. We also have a little drill you can do with an emergency call list where you pick a day and you just randomly call the members of your staff to see if they can access their business continuity plan quickly and did they answer their phone and did they get back to you and that sort of thing. You can do an evacuation drill exercise. You can exercise or test your work-at-home capabilities. Maybe let someone work from home for a half a day, make sure that they can dial in and get to the resources they need to do their work, make sure they can remotely print if they need to, that sort of thing. You can take a little piece of a staff meeting and review all the components of what a business continuity plan is, just to further, you know, we want to build an institutional resiliency here, so we want to kind of make it a culture at our institution. So any opportunity we can bring up business continuity, we want to. And then there's also a downloadable FEMA exercise there as well. So feel free to go out and look at those pieces. Maybe you could use them on your site. Very good.
All right. Indiana University, again, as I mentioned earlier, has the protect.iu site that encompasses various different groups under the PSIA umbrella. As you can see, public safety and the police are a part of that. We have emergency continuity and planning as one of those divisions, online security. We also have environmental health and safety. This is a fairly new application that we've been using. In 2014, we migrated from, well, the old version of what we had online to this newer version. It is, in essence, at the 50,000-foot level, if you will, and it speaks in a couple of sentences or a paragraph more so than pulling up a page and you reading and reading and reading and reading. You can get the gist of an idea and then drill down if you need more information. The arrow at the top of the screen, the about, the contact, and the education, I think is incredibly important. Folks that visit your site, whether they are the coordinators or whether they are a visiting admin, business continuity admin person, they too want to see how you've put together. Tell us about your site. What am I going to find here? The education piece, of course, is a blog, and I'll show you that in a moment. And the contact, we have pictures of each individual that work within PSIA, their email address, their department or unit, and their phone number too. So it helps to introduce us to the public before we go out. The sticker that you see at the right-hand side is something that was put together within our department that we use for a handout. It's a way to get the word out. You know, protect.iu.edu, how simple. We give that to students, faculty, and staff, whether it be the fall check-in or RA fairs, or when the staff go to various different trainings, whether that is active shooter response training, whether it be the earthquake drills, whether it be tornado simulations, whatever. We try to distribute that as often as we can. So that's our front page, if you will. So here is the About section that you see, and it will give you an idea of exactly what you're going to have within this site. And you see on the right-hand side, we've also incorporated our Twitter feed, that is Protect IU, and it is real time. So if we put something on there, then we get to see what that is. This is specifically the emergency continuity and planning section, the beginning of that. And you'll notice on the left-hand side with the menu that there are a variety of different subjects or areas that can be covered. And you see that business continuity is down the list there, and it breaks out a little bit further. Now, this site, again, has just been updated. As you can see in the right-hand side there, we just upgraded last week. So some of the presentations and materials and resources that we used for the old version obviously aren't going to work anymore. So those have been removed from the site. So changes are ad hoc. They're also scheduled on an annual basis that we kind of go through and look and see, is that still relevant? Do I need to get rid of something? Do I need to add something? As you go down this page, you'll find the different topics. For example, why do I need to make a business continuity plan? We provide the information. You also see that in the middle of the page where the blue arrow is, here's an easy way to get to the ready product by clicking on the blue IU Ready mark. The sticker that you see on the right-hand side, the continuity tool, this was one of the components that we used with the older version, that if you clicked on this, you could also get to the ready product as well. Down below at the bottom, you see different subtopics that are listed there, questions that are asked. There are the plus signs at the end of those statements, and they will then open up and provide additional information, as you see in this slide. So who should be involved with creating this continuity plan? Well, there's a little bit more information that says, yep, both of them. We really want everybody to be involved because what each of them do need to be represented in continuity plans. And then the last component down at the bottom, you see that there is a statistical field here that it's sort of that Dow Jones kind of graph, if you will, that you can see at a glance how we're doing. Where are we at? Is that number going to grow? Is it going to go down? It's just an easy way for coordinators to see the results of where we are with the product. In creating the continuity plans, we also have a specific subtitle, if you will, that will help those coordinators, BCP coordinators, look at maybe something specific that they're looking for. And again, they have the let's open that up and drill down component with them as well. So it's a way for them to just pick the information that they need specifically. As I mentioned earlier, we have a portal. This is a view of mine. You'll notice in the right-hand corner that the upper right-hand corner that it says all IU campuses. This is a pull-down menu. You can pick your specific campus. Say you only work on the Richmond campus, which is IU East. You can choose that, and then you won't see all the appearances of the IU Ready product. You'll only see yours. But this is very easy that if you're going in and need talking to someone in Kokomo or you're talking to someone on a different regional campus, you can specifically pull up their version and look at exactly what they're looking at too. And I find this incredibly helpful. So the portal gets to all kinds of applications, and it is useful for the Ready product as well. And of course, those of you that have the Kuali Ready product, the new and improved version, which we're going to get into hopefully a bit later. Beverly?
Okay, we're ready for the tips and tricks, things that we have discovered and uncovered that helps our sites to be a little more user-friendly and successful. The first one we put down was use quotes and testimonials from leadership. I can't emphasize how important that is and we do not have any on our site yet. So it's something we're still working on, but that is something on Mary Lou's site that is just awesome. It talks to the departments of the expectation and the importance of having these plans in place, and it gives you something to fall back onto if you're talking to a department and you're not getting any cooperation, or you feel like they're kind of waning a bit. You can reinforce it by the fact that you have those testimonials and quotes out there from the people that matter in the institution that want to see it be successful. The other thing we find is keep your website clean and simple. Nobody likes to go to a website and hunt and can't find what they're looking for. So you want to keep it user-friendly. You want to not let it get stagnant. And in these days, everything gets stagnant pretty quick. Technology's moving fast. Students, and I say students, I mean to say younger workers in the workforce, have higher expectation than some of the older folks do. But you have to kind of cater to both audiences. You have their different learning styles. You know, the way I like to see something and the way I like to follow the path on a web page may be completely different than someone who's, you know, a new professional in the field. So you have to kind of gauge your audiences and come up with a happy medium for both. And you know, one thing that you may want to do is actually do a test of your audience. Maybe develop a few questions and send it out and ask them to how easy is it for you to find a certain piece of information that you want them to locate, or can you find where the form is for the third-party vendor that I just showed you a few minutes ago, or are the tabletop exercises easy to read and easy to follow? So give them a set of questions and then just see what the response is, because they'll give you feedback on what works and what doesn't work. And one of the other things is internal audit has been phenomenal for us. Internal audit is actually our enforcement arm. And so be acquainted with the folks in internal audit. They will be very supportive of this endeavor. They will talk to their clients when they go out to do an audit. They will be looking to see, do they have a business continuity plan, and they will direct them back to you for getting one started if they don't have one, or if it's not up to date. They may opt to give them a certain period of time to say it needs to be brought up to date within 30 days or 60 days, and then alert us that it needs to be updated as well. So, you know, don't ever be afraid of internal audit. They are your friend in this situation. And then for us here at Ohio University, it's very important that the website work for us. We're limited on staff. I need it to be able to, again, educate and inform the audience. So use it, use it, use it. Mary Lou?
Okay. And some additional tips and tricks that we've discussed as well, and we've mentioned are know your audience. Are you talking specifically to coordinators? Is it behind CAS authentication? Are faculty going to be involved? What about parents and students? In our case, we're a bit of informational, more so I think, percentage-wise, and we're also instructional as well. But in the past, we've been able to talk to folks like you out there and have been able to show them, add your forms, add information, make it a central point, and as we all know, research and development, well, okay, rip off and duplicate is something that we all like to do when we're developing a site, and that's something that I share all materials, or I have shared all materials, whether they be presentations or whether they be supporting documents. It's important to have those at coordinator fingertips so that they can also make copies if somebody within the department needs those. 50,000 foot level, again, keep it simple, stupid, as I say to myself, and then have the materials and the details behind that if folks are wanting more. The frequently asked questions are also important. If somebody's asking the same thing, then put that in the FAQ. Most of the time, that will be sufficient for answering their question, and you are gaining time with the things that you need to do to broaden the program. Definitions are important. We all eat, sleep, and drink this business continuity or emergency management or risk assessment, whatever division we're with, but not everybody understands the terms. It is important to make sure that those are out there so that if they hear EOC and they hear IMT and they hear all of these different acronyms, that there is a way for them to get the answer of what the heck does that mean. Top-down support, as Beverly mentioned, we have a quote from our president. He is the one that mandated that business continuity, each department, division, and unit will have one, and it is so nice to be able to have that. So check with your provost, your chancellor, your vice presidents, and get as top as you can in getting support and getting a quote from them. It is incredibly helpful. You want to meet your audience where they are. As Beverly mentioned, social media is important to the Millennium crew, where paper and information on the website might be more important to the older generation, of which I'm one of those, and sometimes paper is just so much easier for me to scratch notes on than doing it online. Group common subjects, the training docs, the presentations, the support letters, so that when folks do visit your site, they can find the information that they're needing easily. If there are links to other recovery sites, maybe other on-campus divisions, information that maybe environmental health and safety might have, or the police department might provide, or your insurance claim group might have, utilize those links. They're important that we all talk the same language. We have a knowledge base here on campus that help provide support for applications, central services that are provided through IT. This is a great place to also put those tutorials or questions if your school has this kind of service available. And as Beverly had mentioned, create and link to training to technologies. Good night. Everything is on YouTube these days. Not that we need to make a YouTube, but maybe we do. Our own channel for different training vignettes, being able to capture the dialogue and the screen at the same time is, obviously a cool technology. Why not utilize it? So I think those are important tips and tricks that we can provide. And as I joked with Beverly before we started that we needed to add one more slide, and lessons learned, I think, are important. Because we've done this in the past, it's important to listen to your users. It's important to listen to the coordinators. Have a panel of them. I know that we've utilized those in the past. What do they want? What do they need? What resources can help them make this easier? Listen to those close to the business continuity planning processes. They're in the trenches. They're in the weeds. They can give you information better than some of those that might be upper management sometimes, just because these folks are living and breathing it, as I mentioned before. Understand that there are different insights from different folks. They have a different point of view about business continuity. And so, as my friend Stephen Covey always said, or one of his points and principles, seek first to understand, then to be understood. And I think that, I just love that quote. I think that's so important, to be able to listen to others. And also, once you get information, then organize. Oh my goodness. Whether you sort everything by your audience or whether you sort it by the task with which they're looking for information, think through that. It's important to be able that people can find what they're looking for. Sort that information in easily findable methods, as I mentioned, whether it be information is here and instructional is there, whether this is the coordinator page and this is what students need to look at. Organize your information. Be a resource to whoever is going to visit your site. I think it's important that you understand there are going to be others that you might not have thought of that may stumble upon your site and be able to learn different things. All right, Beverly, it's back to you.
Okay, my last slide. So where we are here at Ohio University. We're relatively new to the Kuali Ready process. We actively started our plans in January of 2015. We started with the administrative and operational units. That's the side that I'm most familiar with. That's the side that seemed to be a little easier for us to get some quick wins under our belt. We redesigned our website. As you know, it is expected in today's environment that everybody have a website. I mentioned earlier about how it was important for me to keep all the resource materials in one place and not maintain two sites, and to use the website as a pre-training tool. We are not finished yet with our website. We are still trying to add new features and functions, and where we think we're going next is we're gearing up for the academic side. We're going to be working with them hopefully in the spring, getting a steering committee together and start down the road of the instructional side of the world. We think it's important that we focus in on our research component specifically. So we're going to be creating some checklists and emergency contact information that should be posted in all the research labs on campus. We mentioned the tabletop exercise, the do-it-yourself. I think we can always improve that link on our webpage. So as we come across new ways of doing tabletop exercises, we're going to put those out there. And more important for me that we do this the academic colleges because of the size and scope of what each college might bring to the table. So we're talking, 40 or 50 plans for each college. That's a lot of work. So having somebody responsible within the college will work well for us. And then I wanted to add a new link out there. It's called What's New for 2017. As we mentioned, this is a work in progress. This isn't something you do one time and put on the shelf and you're done with the business continuity plan. You need to constantly massage it, exercise it, make sure that the awareness is within your department on what you use it for and when, make sure it's up to date. So we wanted to put a few things out there for 17, and what we're going to do is orchestrate some brown bag lunch exercises, because if a whole department can't get together to do a tabletop, maybe we just do a tabletop and invite whoever wants to come. That will still be a way to get individuals that are involved with the business continuity planning process within their division to a table to practice. Another thing we want to emphasize this year is to collaborate with linked units. We have colleges and groups and departments on the main campus, and then a smaller branch at the regional campuses. So we want to make sure we all understand each other. The main campus is really the gatekeeper, but we want to make sure that whatever's being documented in a plan at one of the linked areas or the regional campuses, it makes sense to the main site, the main campus, what the documentation entails. So we want to emphasize that collaboration. And then we want to then talk about sharing your individual plan with those that you are dependent on or are dependent on you. And what I mean by that is that, say you've created a paper workaround if your IT services are out, and you're going to use a paper workaround system to do a critical function in your office. You want to make sure that whoever's going to be receiving that information or needs that information from you to do their critical function, that you're not creating a headache for them. So share it with your dependencies, both upstream and downstream, and make sure you're not stepping on somebody else's toes with what you've created. So we're going to emphasize those three things for next year as an improvement to everybody's business continuity plan. Mary Lou?
And for Indiana University, of course, again, we've been involved with the Ready product even back when it was called the BCPT from UC Berkeley back in '07. We were able to utilize what we were doing through federal grants from the Department of Education and FEMA, which was incredibly helpful. And our approach was the operational units. The groups that are a part of the Emergency Operations Center, they really should have their operational units or their business continuity plans in place first. Then we did, as Beverly mentioned, the academic units second. And we have 18 schools, and believe me, that's not an easy animal to tame, but we feel very confident with what we have so far with them. We're never done, but we continue on. We did redesign the website, as I mentioned, in 2014. We try to keep all the resources up to snuff. That's the reason a lot of ours have gone away because of the reorg now with the tool. And it is important that we use the website for that pre-training, as we mentioned, and also post-training. Everybody learns differently. I'm a show me person. Show me first, then I'll go to the resources and yep, saw that, yeah, I understand that. Oh, there's more information about that. Where others are, just give me the manual and I can learn from that. So we need to continue to recognize that people learn in different methods. Where are we going? Well, with the completed plans, and again, that's in quotes, what do we do with them? Who needs to have a hard copy? Do we need to put those on jump drives so people take those home? We want to share with the entire staff. We want to make sure that everyone understands their continuity plan. It's not a secret. And as a matter of fact, people feel a little bit more at ease when they know that the university is going to do their best to get them back up and running should some kind of a catastrophe hit. the tabletop exercises. We have scenario-based exercises at this point. I think even Beverly has some great ideas for individual tabletop exercises within departments. And that distribution list, as I mentioned, should we put those in a binder and that go to the vice president to take home with them? Or should it go to the manager? Who's going to also make sure that those documents that are uploaded are on that jump drive as well? So there's always additional work that needs to be done after the fact. Also, I think the tracker or the count option is a good idea. Which parts of our website are being utilized more? Is it the instructional side? Is it the informational side? Is it the forms and support that people are going to? And so that's an excellent idea, I believe. So I'm going to rob that from Beverly. So we're at the end of our presentation, and I'm going to give it back to Becky.
Okay. Thank you, Beverly and Mary Lou, for sharing your experiences in creating a campus website. We truly appreciate your efforts in sharing your personal experiences with our community. Some questions have come in, but please take this opportunity to submit more. Feel free to submit a question even if you want a personal answer. Just note it as private and we can get back to you directly. I also apologize for not introducing myself at the beginning. My name is Becky Higgins and I manage the new innovations that go into Kuali Ready as a product, but I'm also responsible for putting on webinars like this one, and my goal is to make sure it's content that's valuable to you. So I'd love your feedback and ideas on other webinars that we could host. So as you type in your questions, please also submit ideas, if you have them, on webinar content that you would like to see. Okay, while you're having a moment to enter your questions, we have one last poll that we'd like to do. And here it is. Which kind of department do you report through? And here we have it. Oh, this one's a lot more split. Great. Great information. Lots of diversity here. Okay, let's get to some questions. We only have a few minutes, but if we have additional questions, we can go slightly longer. Our first question, the short URL like Indiana University has, how do you get that set up? Or how could you get that taken care of at your university? Maybe Mary Lou, that's for you.
All right. It's knowing folks in the IT area. Actually, the one.iu.edu, because it's a portal, this was created by University Information Technology Services. Protect.iu.edu, again, our Associate Vice President reports not only to the EVP that we mentioned, he also reports to the Vice President for UITS as well. Now, I'm not saying that knowing people in high places will get you there, but I think knowing your webmaster and being able to request a simple URL is probably your first point of contact.
Great. We have multiple people asking for the PowerPoint slides and whether they'll be available. And the answer to that is yes. We can share that information as well as the recording. So sounds like there's a lot of value in your content. That's fantastic.
And I will add one more slide that speaks to lessons learned. I think that's something that, I blathered on about, and I should have added the slide, and I will make sure that that is a part, and that Beverly and I are able to add both lessons learned.
Great. Okay, how does your user training content overlap with the content on your website? Could be either of you.
Beverly?
Read the question again.
How does your training or your user training content overlap with the content on your website? So maybe just what's the relationship between those two pieces?
Okay. I don't know. It's not word for word. When I go out, I really wing it when I'm talking to groups. So I try to cover all the important points of the training process, and then the documents are there as backup support. Kind of like Mary Lou mentioned a little bit ago, people learn in different ways. So sometimes it's better to hear it just as a off-the-cuff presentation, and then go back and you can actually drill down and look at the pieces that maybe you didn't quite understand as well. So they are joined, but I don't follow any scripted method.
And in my case, at least in the original website that we had, I didn't really do anything different and say these are instructional pieces and these are informational. It was sort of, it's all there. And I would send people to the site, give them what they needed to click on, whether that was 2 clicks down or whether it was a single click down, just so that they would know where they could find that information. Some were in PDF form, some were in Word docs if they needed additional information, and the tutorial was available to them under a specific header that was instructional to them.
Okay, so we have run out of time, unless there's any last minute questions. If you did ask a question and we didn't get to it, we'll respond to you in private. So again, this presentation has been recorded and a link to it and the slides will be emailed to you. Thank you so much for attending this webinar and have a great rest of your day. Bye.